Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Humbo here, and I'm bringing you a brand new video. It's going to be the best keybinds for beginners and for switching to keyboard and mouse. We're also going to go over how to find the perfect sensitivity for yourself and how to adjust your sensitivity to find what will work best for you. Guys, just want to get two quick things out of the way. We just hit 20,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for being subscribed to my channel. And number two, I live stream every single morning on Twitch. If you guys want to ask me more questions or just chill in the stream, the link will be in the description to my Twitch stream. Now, guys, I'm going to go over a couple quick tips and then we'll get into the binds. But yeah, guys, let's get into this video. Alright guys, so one of the really important things that I wanted to cover before actually going over the binds is that you guys should stick with these binds if you choose to use them for at least 2 months minimum. Guys, it takes about 2 months for your muscle memory to properly set in with any set of binds. So my point here is that I feel like a lot of you may be getting discouraged too fast when you switch to new binds and you just keep changing and changing and changing, and that is one of your biggest problems. I promise you guys the gameplay you're watching right now was all achieved with these binds. You can build, edit, and aim amazing with these guys. And I'm telling you, stick with it for at least 2 months, be disciplined, be patient, and the results will come, trust. All right guys, and the last thing that I'm gonna get into right before we get into these binds, settings, sens, everything, make sure you watch this full video, guys. I'm gonna be giving a ton of tips, motivation, all that stuff along the way. Y'all already know how these Humbo tutorials rock, so make sure you watch the full video through, like, comment. Let's get into the binds, baby. Let's go. Alright guys, so now getting into the settings, keybinds, and sensitivity that makes all of this gameplay possible. Let's get it. So first thing first, guys, I play in full screen, obviously, 1920 by 1080. Now some of you will notice I actually changed my resolution. I used to play in 1798 by 1080, which is a slight stretched resolution on PC, but now I have gone back to native. I do feel there's less input delay on native and it just looks better overall. So I cap my frames at 144 FPS. Now I would recommend this, guys, especially if you're new to PC and you're not really sure how much frames your PC can run. A really good tip is you don't want to run a frame rate that your PC can't hold constantly. So what this means is your PC can only hold 165 frames, let's say. Why would you set it to unlimited or 240? Your PC can't hold these, so it's going to cause a lot of frame tear and delay. Make sure you guys are capping your FPS at whatever your PC can consistently hold. Alright guys, so now I play 100 brightness, which is completely preference. I recommend 100 to 150 brightness. You don't want to go too low in game, you just won't be able to see, especially when the map gets darker, which is annoying. In colorblind mode is all preference as well. I just tend to play with it off and not use any colorblind strength. Getting into graphics quality, I play on 89% 3D resolution. Now I recommend doing this instead of playing on 100. This will help your input delay and frames a little bit. I play view distance near, shadows off, anti-analyzing off, and of course effects low and post-processing low, but I play with my textures on high. Now there's a really good reason for this and it will help your frames, guys. If you play with textures on high and then go down here to NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency and turn it on plus boost, what this will do is it will put some work on your GPU of your PC and it'll balance out your PC's workload basically. So that's good for your PC's performance, that setting change. So if you guys want to copy those settings, you can. VSync off, motion blur off, show FPS on, because I like to see. DirectX 11. I allow multi-threaded rendering, and yeah guys, you guys can just copy these, but that's it for my, my actual video settings. Now getting into the game settings. Only thing that I'm really going to go over here, because a lot of this is preference. You guys can see, obviously I have spring by default, auto open doors is on, all this. You guys can just pause and look if you need to, but the main thing that's very important now, guys, Fortnite has now added it in so you can get rid of preset edits. Right here you see reset edits with entering build mode. You guys know when you preset your edit mid-edit, or your timing's off, or you have bad ping or delay like a lot of you guys experience. Well, now this is fixable. All you have to do is turn this setting right here on and you will no longer get preset edits. Huge addition to Fortnite right here. Another thing I would highly recommend that you guys use is confirm edit on release. This is super weird to get used to for the first few months, but I am telling you guys, it is completely worth it, 100%. I love confirm edit on release. I think it makes a huge difference with my gameplay. Alright guys, so now getting into HUD scale, I have mine turned all the way down just because I was playing on creative and I was going for creative clips and I like to have a really small HUD because it looks clean. But yeah, all these settings should be the same for all of you guys. You know, there's not much difference in all this, so I will just let you guys take a screenshot or whatever, but this should be what you guys have. Now getting into the important stuff, we have mouse and keyboard sensitivity, targeting and scope sense, the XY. And guys, I am going to go over a good range of sensitivity right now. I would recommend you guys play on 800 DPI for your mouse, and then you guys can play anywhere on X and Y. Make sure they're matching. I recommend matching them. Play anywhere from 4% at the lowest to maybe 10% at the highest for both of these. And another good tip, so some of you guys ask me questions with finding a good sense. Here's what I would recommend. If you're missing shots, for example, this is your problem, you should lower your sense by about 0.2% every day on both. Every day when you get on, lower it by just 0.2, a slight difference. Or if you want to slowly raise your sensitivity, you should just up it by 0.2, up it by 0.2 every day. Every time you get on, up, you won't even notice a difference, guys. But listen, it makes such a big difference compared to when people just swing their sensitivity up to like 13% right here or something. Don't do that. Literally just inch it up every day, and that's the best way to gradually get used to it, rather you're going up or down, guys. That's the best way to change your sensitivity, is slowly. As you guys can see, I play 62.3, 62.3, all preference. But once again, guys, my main tip with finding the God sensitivity for yourself, because everyone is different, is move it slightly every day. Don't make these big jumps and try to get used to it. That's a bad way to mess up your muscle memory. The best way to do it, whenever I moved my sense down, because I moved it down a lot, is 0.2 every day on your X and your Y. Just 0.2 difference. Literally 0.1% difference every day. Best way to change your sensitivities, guys. All right, guys, obviously this is all the same here. I have all this off right now so it doesn't interfere with my recording. And now getting into the long-awaited keybinds. Okay, guys, so I play WASD movement, as most of you will have it preset like this. Obviously, I very much recommend that. Jump with spacebar, recommend that as well. Auto run 6, that's fine. Crouch with left control. All these binds are uncontroversial. You guys should use these binds. Trust me, my binds are very, very optimal, guys, especially for beginners. Now getting into combat, I fire with left mouse button, target with right. You guys should have that like that. Reload with R, which I also recommend. E for my use, aka interact. Harvesting tool is actually click down on my middle mouse button. So that's click down on scroll wheel. That's how I pull out my pickaxe. And then for my shotgun, I do mouse wheel up. So you move it up, you scroll your wheel up, and that's what brings out my shotgun, which is always in slot 1, which I also recommend. If you can picture, I'm here harvesting, right? My finger's on scroll wheel, and then all I have to do is flick it up to pull out my shotgun at any time. It's very good for a panic bind. I love that. My second weapon slot is Q, which is right next to W. So if you guys can picture that, with your left ring finger, you're clicking Q to swap to your SMG, and you can still have your finger on W. So this is for whatever your swap weapon is, your AR or your SMG. Weapon slot 3 is also for an AR. If you're rocking a pump AR and SMG, you would use 3, your third slot, which is easy to click, and your AR is never too important to pull out. It's not your swap. If it's your swap, you put it in weapon slot 2, of course. 4 and 5 are literally just 4 and 5, which I would recommend. That's just for your utilities or movement or health. Getting down into building, I don't even have a crouch while building binded. My wall. Now this is another super important part of my binds, guys. I've gone over this before, but I use double mouse buttons to build. Guys, you need, if you're a new person or player and you're looking to get into this stuff, make sure you guys get a mouse, invest in a mouse that has 2 mouse buttons minimum. I use 2 mouse buttons for my thumb to build. What this does is it allows you to build while still having all 4 of your binds still at use on your WASD. So you can still click WASD and move properly while building. That's why this is so important. So with my top mouse button, like closer to the front of my mouse, I use for walls. I use C for floors, which I click with my left pointer finger, and I also click F with my left pointer. So I edit with F, and I also use floors with C here. So I've switched between F and C to edit and place floors. And then for stairs, I use my thumb mouse button at the bottom of my mouse, so like the back half of my thumb. And I click both mouse buttons with my thumb. So I just click it with different parts of my thumb, if you guys can picture that. For traps, I use T, which is kind of hard to reach, but traps aren't too important nowadays for the most part, but I got used to that. Place build, left mouse button, repair, upgrade, H. Change building material is my right mouse button, which you guys should use. And now for my building edit, select building edit and reset building edit, which is what a lot of people are just doing. I'm actually single edit bind to edit on release, like I explained earlier. I edit with F, and I use scroll wheel down for my scroll wheel. So to reset buildings, I only use scroll wheel, okay? So I would obviously recommend setting up scroll wheel like this. It's a very OP if you're on keyboard and mouse, whether you're on console or PC. And I use F, single edit bind, edit on release, okay? Of course, all this stuff is total preference, but my ping place marker is 7. And yeah, guys, that's honestly about it for my binds. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to keyboard and mouse, I hope this was helpful. I would really appreciate if you dropped a sub if you found this video to be helpful. Drop a like. I have tons of other videos with tips on how to switch to keyboard and mouse. I live stream on Twitch every single morning. If you want to go ask me questions there live, and I will respond to you live. You guys will hear my voice and everything. It'd be fun. So yeah, guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out, man.